All right, everyone. I have a pretty cool video, I think, for you today. It's a little bit of a nerdy video. I have a Behringer wing in front of me. I have a patch list in front of me of a 25-piece band that I'm doing on Saturday, which is tomorrow. And I'm going to build a patch list here and build out a show file so that I don't have to do that the day of on the spot tomorrow, because that's a lot of time that would be wasted and spent at the venue where I could be doing other things like setting up, monitors and mics and stands and cables, and there's just a million other things I have to do. I'm doing both audio and lighting for this event, so I'm taking today to do some prep. I'm going to also be prepping lighting later, but right now I'm building a show file, and I figured I would take you along with me as I build this out. It's going to be a long video, fair warning. It's also going to be a very run and gun, like I'm going to literally make this up right in front of you and just kind of figure out what I want to do with this band. So I hope that you get something out of it in terms of, just enjoying me figure out my decisions and screaming at your screen saying, no, do it this way instead, or whatever, whatever it is. Maybe you'll learn something in terms of like a different method of routing something or whatever. But I'm going to go through the whole thing. It's going to be a super long video, and let's just dive right into it. So I have my patch list here. We have 2 drum kits, which is kind of ridiculous. I'm not sure how well you can see this, but we have 2 drum kits. We have bass, a guitar, some trumpets, saxes, trombones, a 6-piece choir. We have 4 strings, and then we have our lead artist here, Emmett James. This is for the Emmett James Big Band Barbecue. If you know Emmett from Milwaukee, I'm not sure if you're from the area, but he's in Milwaukee, really awesome dude, and he puts together this event every year. We have an announcer and a DJ. So we're probably going to use all of my inputs on my DL32. And we have, let's see here, we got mics. My friend James put this together, the guy that's booking this or co-working with me, and he kind of put this patch list together. So I'm going to decipher what he has here. We have instrument mics for that. It looks like everything is an instrument mic. The strings, I believe, provide their own DIs or their own mics. Let's see, what else do we have here? Oh, also we have 10 monitor mixes that we have to provide. So we basically have all these inputs, and then we have 10 monitor mixes to provide, and then we have our main system that we have to route as well. So what I'm gonna do, I think, is I'm gonna sort of partially take one of my old show files, so that way my left, right, sub, and fill matrices and my main master bus matrix is kind of, my main master bus is already set up, and basically I'm gonna take all my channels and rearrange them. This is a patch from a Metal Fest River City Slam, so I'm gonna use some of the channels and copy paste a lot of things around. But the first thing I like to do when I build a file is I like to work backwards. So I like to look at my mains and then my monitor mixes and my subgroups and my aux mixes and everything that I need for that, and work backwards. Let me just turn this lamp up a little bit, just get it. Not that helps much, but so I like to work backwards. So we have the mains and left, right, sub, fill. We have my master that's already set up. The master bus, my main left, right mix, is feeding into these matrices, and that's going to distribute to my left and right, my sub and my front fills if I need them. So I think what my plan is going to be is we have, let's see, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 mixes on this file. We have 6 subgroups, and then we have 4 effects. Now I probably don't need all these effects tomorrow, so I think what I could do, I kind of have some options here. I need 10 monitor mixes. I have 16 aux buses. I want to use some subgroups because I enjoy mixing to groups when I can. So I know I want a drum group. I probably want a group for the brass. I probably want a group for the choir. I probably want a group for the strings. Maybe one group for like the guitars and bass together, just so I have them on a fader. And And what else? I think that's probably all I need. I could maybe keep them separate. That's 6, 7 groups. So this actually might be a good case to use DCAs. I don't really like using DCAs, so I'm gonna probably still build this file without using them. Maybe I'll put some things that I don't put into subgroups on a few DCAs, but I think I'm gonna avoid DCAs still. And if you're in my position where you have a lot of groups of strings and things like that and brass that you need to like put control with one fader, where you want all the strings on one fader, DCAs are definitely a great way to go. I just want to have extra processing on my groups, and because the point to me to mixing things into a group or linking everything together, like all the strings, for example, is I want to be able to like lightly compress that group, or like the brass, for example, like when the brass is playing very loud and everybody's blasting their horns, like I want a compressor there to help me out, as help out the front of house mix, so that brass section doesn't overpower the whole mix. That's sort of the main example of why I like to mix into groups, other than just obviously having it on one fader, but being able to process multiple channels in one thing and actually have processing, whereas a DCA is just sort of a remote volume control. So let's go through here. I'm a little scatterbrained, and we'll just start making. I think what I'm going to do is I'll have my 6 first monitor mixes here, my groups that I have set up, and then I will use 4 other matrices to get my 10 monitor mixes. I think that is just going to be the easiest thing to do, working off of this file that I already have. There's a way that I could probably shift some of these around. Like I could get rid of some effects, and then I could have 8 monitor mixes, or maybe I just cut down on my groups as well. And then I can put all 10 monitor mixes on auxes, but I would rather just put the extra monitor mixes on matrices than give up my ability to use my groups. So with that being said, let's just move forward here with getting these mixes here kind of sorted out and zeroed out. I'm using a hodgepodge of wedges tomorrow, so I have some passive JBL wedges. I have some EV ZLX12s, trying out an LD Systems wedge. I just have a whole bunch of different speakers tomorrow, so I'm going to zero out all these EQs because I don't know where any of these speakers are going to be, and then that way we can ring out the monitors tomorrow. So let's go ahead and let me initialize this channel. We'll start with setting up our mix buses. So let's select basically everything here. Come on. And we will initialize this first bus, and then I'm going to name it and set up my feeds here. We'll make sure everything feeds. We'll set to on, and then I'm going to set up a name, and then I'm just going to copy and paste this mix 1. I'll just leave it like mix, and then we'll go through here. So mix. Awesome. And then what else do I want to set up on this? I don't really want compression. We'll turn the EQ on, so that's ready to go. Maybe we'll just do a little bit of a low shelf. I probably could do a low cut instead, but just kind of roll off some of this 40 hertz. We don't need that in the monitors. And you could probably argue that we could do a little high pass too, or a little high cut. But I don't like to do too much beforehand until I hear the box. So maybe we'll just leave this kind of alone. All right. We also need to make this a mono mix, because these are all going to be mono mixes. And that looks pretty good. And then I'll just copy and paste this. So we're going to select, copy, and I'm just going to go down the line 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I'm going to go ahead and copy all the feeds as well. That way everything turns on, and boom. Awesome. So now I have my 6 mixes here on my auxes, my 6 aux mixes. Let's see, mix 1, mix 2, mix 3, mix 4, mix 5, and mix 6. Awesome. So now I have, let's see, we'll set these faders to 0 as well, just so they're on and open. Boom, 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 boom. Little user button there for you. Set fader to 0. Pretty handy. All right, so that covers 6 of my mixes. Let's go to my matrix page, and let's actually wait. Can I copy this to a matrix? Ooh, maybe I can. Let's do that, and we'll do the feeds as well. And then if I go here, aha! Look at that. Sweet. We just copied our mixes, our aux mixes, to the last 4 matrices. That will give us 10 mixes. And the reason why I copied was because that way, again, I can like the feed of the matrix here. That way, when I go to select the matrix on this side and I do sends on fader, all of my channels show up. Because before they wouldn't have shown up, because unless you assign something on to a matrix, it won't show up on the sends on fader on the matrix. So with that being said, let me just rename my matrix mixes. So this will be mix 7, mix 8, mix 9, and mix 10. Awesome. So we have 10 monitor mixes ready to go. The next step I want to do is route those. So let's go to routing, and we're going to make sure my outputs are going where I want them to go. So let me just actually hit none on these local outs. I don't want anything weird to happen. We're not taking anything out of the console. We're all going to use the stage box. So here we go. Mix 1, 2, 3, 4. Let's do +1 auto here. We're source group bus, so mix 1 is going to output 1 on AES-A, which is my stage box. And 1, 2, 3, 4, so we're on 5. Let's go mix 5, mix 6, and then we'll have to jump over to the matrix page. And we're mix 7, mix... Oh, I didn't relabel this right. Oh no, this is matrix 5. Okay, I see. Confusing myself. 9 and 10. Awesome. So let me double check my work here. Mix 1 is going to bus 1, 2 to 2, 3 to 3. Mix 7 is going to matrix 5. Oh, it's matrix 5. Okay, mix 7 is going to output 7. That's where it kind of gets confusing. Mix 9 is going to 9. Mix 10 is going to 10. Great. Awesome. And then, as you can see, my left, right, sub, and fill, 13, 14, 15, 16, are already pre-routed from my other file. So I'm going to leave that alone because that is what I want. We have 2 more outputs left over, so in case we need to do another monitor mix, or if we need to send out a record feed or something on stage, or maybe I want to add an outfill, or I guess the front fill mix can be the outfill, and I'll be good to go. So we got a couple more outputs left, and now we get to decide what my buses look like. So I don't think I need... I'm going to try to keep this bass and guitar bus. Let me see if I can make this work. I have keys and tracks, and I know I only have 1 keyboard player, and I won't have any tracks. So let's repurpose these 2 for the brass section and the string section, and then this vocal bus will be my choir section, and then I may put Emmett's mic not in this bus. I'll keep it in the bus for now, but I may separate him out and send him directly to the main so that he doesn't get squished when the choir sings along, for example, because I will have some sort of compression on this vocal bus. So let's go ahead and rename and repurpose these 2. So we'll have the guitars, maybe the brass is the next bus. So let's just label this brass. And I want it orange for whatever reason in my head, maybe because it's the closest thing to brass color. And then naming this one's going to be the strings. Oops. Strings. Awesome. And do we have a green? I feel like I haven't used green. Sure, that looks great. And then my vocals are going to stay yellow. Awesome, awesome. Let's just get all of my faders here at 0 real quick. And bring my main down. It doesn't matter. Cool. So we have drums, bass, guitar, which, yeah, I mean, I really don't need to group the bass and the guitar because there's only like one bass and like maybe 1 or 2 guitar players. But I just like having extra layers of processing. I like having these buses show up like this just because I'm very used to my file looking like this. I just like just the workflow. Okay, it's just my I just make, this is what I want, so this is what I'm going to use. Now, you know, if you were in my situation, you probably don't need a bus for the bass, you probably don't need a bus for the 1 or 2 guitars, and then you could repurpose these for something else, maybe, you know, an additional bus for something, or maybe you make those 2 monitor mixes. But I still needed 8 monitor mixes. I think at the end of the day, I probably could have gotten away with 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 monitor mixes here. And then, you know, taking away the guitar and the bass, and then taking away maybe like the plate and the slap, and just had a verb and delay, and kind of gotten away with that. But I like how this is set up, and I don't really care that my other 4 mixes are on these matrices, so this is gonna work. Now let's move on to my inputs here. Let's just get all those laid out, and then we'll go through everything that we need to route to the buses. So looking again at my input list, we have 2 drum kits. I believe they are 4-piece kits, so I'm going to have to really decide my channels here. I may not even do overheads, but I think we could make the first layer my 2 drum kits. We could do like kick, snare, 2 toms and a pair of overheads or underheads. I like to use like underclamped little condenser mics. So instead of kick, snare, hat, toms, I just like putting the overheads together, so I'll do that. But yeah, kick, snare, hat, and an overhead would be kind of the other way to order these. Obviously, everybody's going to do it differently. This is just how I'm going to do it most likely. So that would be the first 6 channels, and then the next 6 channels would be kick, snare, 2 toms, and overheads, which on this console, I could technically save 2 faders, so I may do that. But I just got to remember how many inputs I have. I have 32 inputs on my stage box. So that's that. But maybe I could just condense the overheads into stereo pairs, and then I'd have 2 more faders on this layer, and that could maybe be my guitar and my bass, because it looks like there's only 1 of each of those. So that actually sounds like a plan. And then we do have, let's see, keys will be stereo, and then trumpet. There's 28 slots on this sheet, and I will only have 32 inputs. So this will be interesting to try to fit this all in. This says the choir could be mic'd in pairs, so I could do like 3 choir mics instead of 6, but I don't really want to rely on like condenser mics or like some really sensitive like high gain 58 between 2 people. I don't think that's gonna be great. So I might let's just build this out and see where we get. This is a fun problem solving situation. So let's just do a ton of copy and pasting here. So I'm copying my snare here, my tom 1, copying that to there, tom 2, copying that to 4, and then my overheads channel, we're copying that to 5. And this might be a case too where I just do kick, snare, hat on each kit, and then just rely on all of the million other mics on stage to give me my cymbal, my overhead sound. But I think the hi-hat's going to be important because this is like a hip-hop jazz sort of thing, and I think that's going to be, the hi-hat's going to be important to Mike. So copy kick. Oops. What did I do wrong? Snare, copy to here. Tom 1, copy to here. And Tom 2, copy to here. And overheads, copy to here. Sweet. And then we just got to we got to copy one bass channel to here. And a guitar channel, copy that to here. Cool. Yeah, having 2 drum kits is really going to eat up a lot of channels. That's definitely going to suck a bit. Because we already have, yeah, so if I can't do stereo overheads, at least I'll do a hat. And that'll take up 12 channels instead of 14 for this layer. But let's move on here. We need to initialize some channels. So let's just initialize all of these to make some room for our next section, which is going to be, let's see, did we not initialize this guy? Oh, it's because I hate this. The link customization to source thing is so annoying on this wing. I understand why it's here, but it messes with me when I go to do stuff like this. All right, so we have none selected now. So now none of them are linked to the source. All right, we need 2 trumpets, 2 trombones, and 3 saxes. So I'm gonna put my trombone. Well, whatever. We'll just do it in order, so that way, if James is looking at this tomorrow, he will be familiar with the order of things. So we have trumpet. Let's see, TRMPT. I don't know. How do you abbreviate trumpet? Comment below. Tell me how you abbreviate trumpet on your patch. I want to know. It's like an awkwardly long word, and it doesn't fit on my scribble strip. So we have 2 trumpets. We have 2 bones. I just say bone because that's way cooler. Bone 2. All right, and then 3 saxes. Sax 1, sax 2. Now a trick I could use to split up these strings, for example, because I probably don't need like every single string channel to be, the same, and same with these saxes and stuff. But the strings, I could probably use some Y cables, which I don't have. Oh, actually, maybe I do have some. Maybe I do have some in Kevin's work trunk. I'm borrowing some stuff from Kevin to get this done because I don't have enough microphones. But maybe I could Y cable the strings. For now, I'm gonna put every one of them on a separate channel, and we'll see how far we get. And if I need more channels, then I'll have to dig into some Y cabling situations. So, needless to say, let's move on. Strings 1. I don't know what this is gonna be. String 1, string 2, string 3, and string 4. And this vocal channel will be our first choir mic, which is a little bit inconvenient. Maybe I'll put the DJ here so all my vocals are on the same layer. But first, let's copy this over to, see, there's 6 choir mics. Oh my gosh, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yeah, we're definitely not gonna have enough channels on my stage box. We're gonna have to cut some stuff down. This sucks. This is no fun. I think maybe what we could do too is for the trumpets and trombones, we could make them play into one mic. Maybe that's what we do. Because then it's... Yeah, then it's like one mic for the trumpets, one mic for the bones, and then we can keep the saxes separate in case there's like sax solos. That would get 2 channels back, and then if we Y cable 2 of the strings together, that would get another 2 channels back. I think that's going to be the move. All right. I told you this is going to be a long video. You're along with the ride here of me figuring this out on the spot. So let's just do that. Let's just commit for now to trumpets and bones. Oops. And then we'll move the saxes over. Let's just see where this gets us. I could just do the math instead of relabeling this, but we're here now. We're gonna get her done. Sax 1, sax 2, sax 3, and then string 1 here, string 2 here, string... Oh, that's right, strings 1 and strings 2. Yeah, we're gonna Y cable these. And then now we can start on our vocals, which is also inconveniently not like 6 faders together, but whatever, it is what it is. Yeah, we're just gonna have one random vocal on the other page, and I don't really want to Y cable this saxes. Okay, let's just go with the DJ here. Or is that silly? That's kind of silly. Whatever. We'll just have to be paging around for these vocals a little bit. But once again, this is why I put things in groups or DCAs, if you like DCAs, because then you don't have to be paging around. Obviously, this is a tiny console to do this file on. So it makes it a little more difficult. Vocals 1, 2, 3, 4. Copy those. And oops, I should have copied it one more place. Copy it to here. Nice. And then we will have a DJ here. Well, let's put Emmett actually here. So we'll copy this one more time, and I will treat his vocal a little differently, of course. But let's see here for the pairs. What do we have for stereo pairs? We have... Oh, you know what we didn't put in here? We didn't put keys. Keys could go here. Okay. All right. Keys will go here. And that's going to be pink. Sure. Why is it no pink? Oh, because it's not connected to anything. Got it. I got to do my routing. Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4 vocals. 2 more vocals here. This one will be Emmett. Oh, I'm getting a phone call. All right, so where was I? Let's copy this vocal to here, and this will be, oops, I didn't do that right. Copy to here, go. All right, this is gonna be Emmett. Emmett, I think it's 2 T's, let's see. Yep, awesome. And then this is going to be guest. It's also gonna be the MC mic. Oh, let me just copy this over. Lots of vocals, lots of vocals. Copy this, do this. Come on, brain. Guest. Nope. Guest. Awesome. Okay, so we have 4 channels left, but that's 4 faders left. That's not 4 inputs on my stage box left. So I gotta actually count this now. This layer is 14 inputs because of the 2 stereo overhead pairs. All right, so that's 14. And then 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21. Keys will be 22, 23. It's unfortunate. And then vocals 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30, 31. We have one open thing, which I'm still one input short because I need a stereo line for a DJ, which I could use the keys inputs for that, but I don't really want to do that. Okay, I tell you what, let's combine one of these saxes together. Let's combine these saxes together and Y cable those, or just one mic. And then that way my keys will be on a nice even number. I'll put the DJ here too, so we'll have 2 stereo pairs next to each other. I won't have to make any user inputs. So it'll be sax 1, sax 2. How do I do a slash? Can I do a slash? 2/3. Sweet. Strings 1 and 2. Strings. Dang it. Strings. String 3/4. And now that I did that, I have to copy them. Dang it. Okay, copy this. Come on. Copy. Oh, right. And then I select the destination. Okay, so I need to select this, then copy, then the destination, copy. Okay. Still muscle memorying this. There we go. And then we'll copy, we'll just use this here, and this will be we'll put the keys here, and the DJ here. And then our vocals will stay kind of nice. And then these channels will be nothing, I guess, because there's not going to be a way to do it. There's just not enough inputs. We could do some local inputs, I guess, on the desk, but I don't have any analog running from the stage to my desk. So with that being said, now we need to so I don't have any analog running from the stage to my desk, so these faders are just going to be nothing. So let me just unpatch these real quick so that nothing is going to these channels. Super cool. And I guess I could move my vocals and stuff onto this layer. I think I'm going to do that, actually. Sorry for the additional time here. I think I'm going to move stuff so that my vocals are all on the same layer. And then that'll just make more sense. And then I could also put the DJ on this layer as well. That'll also make more sense. So we'll have drums and band, like basically the bass and guitar on one layer. We'll have all the brass, sax, strings on another layer. And then this layer will be all of our vocals and our DJ. And then obviously we'll have house music and, you know, other stuff on my aux layer, but I think that'll make the most sense. So let's go ahead and copy this over to here. What? Copy. Guest. To here. Why can't I do that? Oh, there we go. Why was that not working? Copy to here. All right, and then we'll just copy over these. there. And then we will initialize. Let's just initialize these channels. Initialize. Okay, I can do multiples. That's handy. And then we have to unpatch things. So none for this one, none for this one. And we're going to have to do all the routing here. Because then what I'm going to do after I build this file is I'm going to label my stage box and my subsnakes, and I'll have to make a plan where I'm going to drop my subsnakes, because that way tomorrow everything is like super self-explanatory and you don't have to look at a patch list. It'll all just be labeled, and you know, we'll have to look at the stage plot and stuff maybe, but at least a lot of it'll be dummy proof in terms of where the actual final connection goes on my stage box. That's my plan for today, including in my prep work here after I build this console file. Okay, let's do some routing, because we have some things patched and some things not. So let's go down the line here. Let's see, A1, A2, A3, A4, okay, this will have to be stereo. So this is going to be A5 and 6, and then kick in. The next kick drum is going to be 7. And then snare top is where stuff starts shifting, is 8. Next tom is 9, not stereo. The next tom is 10. And then the next set of overheads, it'll be 11 and 12 stereo. Bass is going to be 13. Guitar is going to be 14. All right. Trumpets are going to be 15. Bones are going to be 16. And we will Y cable these with 2 mics if I have enough Y cables. Otherwise, I'll just make them play into 1 mic. Sax 1 is 17, and then sax 2 and 3 are going to be 18. Same deal there. And then strings 1 and 2 is going to be 19. Mono. Strings 3 and 4 is 20 mono. Keys are 21 and 22 stereo. DJ is 23 and 24 stereo. And then our vocals are going to be 25, 26, 27, 28. And it looks like I didn't copy these channels here. So we have 6. And so this one's going to be 29, 30, and luckily my RF mics in my rack are already patched to 31 and 32. How convenient is that? There we go. We have everything routed into the desk, into all our channels. Now we need to route our channels to our buses that we made before. So let's go ahead and do that. So starting with, let's just make sure all my color coding's right, because then it'll be so much easier to do this from the bus page instead of routing everything one at a time. So check this out. We can do, let's see. Color, sorry, I'm just trying to change some colors here. Make the DJ green, sure, I don't know. And, oh yeah, we were gonna put the DJ on the other page, weren't we? Yeah, let's go ahead and do that. Copy, we'll put the DJ over here on 36. Sure. Copy that. It's going to be green, and then I'm going to disconnect these and just actually initialize this channel and unpatch it. And DJ here, patch that to 23, 24. Cool. There we go. So my coloring looks great. Here, this is wrong, so let's go ahead and change. My brass was orange. My saxes were orange, because that's like my brass. My strings, what did I make strings? Green, I think. Green. And my keys we'll leave blue, because that's really just going to go to the mains, I guess. All right, so now this is how you do this the fast way. So you click your bus, your subgroup that you want. You're going to go to the top here, and this is the page where you're going to route the things into that bus. So we have all the drums selected. Let's select let's see, yeah, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, all these all the way through 12. Let's see, we're not going to do... $11 and $12 because we're not going to do $11 and $12 because those are the basic guitar. So like this is all good, and we're setting it to group, and we're setting it on apply. Now my bass, so we'll go to my bass bus, go to my routing. Bass was fader 11, group on. It looks like it's already done since I've been copying and pasting from my old file. Guitar is fader 12, channel 12. So let's go to my guitar bus, and we're gonna make sure fader 12 is routed. It looks like it already is, but it's group and it's on. Awesome. Then we are gonna take my 13, 14, 15, and 16. So there's my brass. So 13, 14, 15, and 16, group set to on, and apply that. So those are all sending to that group. And I'll show you how to check this work from the other side in a second. My strings are 17 and 18. So string bus, and we're gonna only select 17 and 18, group, set to on, go. And then our vocals should be all routed because I copied and pasted, but let's make sure. So we have 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30, 31, and 32. So my vocal bus, everything is actually already routed, but it would just be all of these to group, set on, and we're good. Now to go the other way, you would select the channel, you go to the bottom is where your outputs are, and you can see it's in group mode because you have to turn it on to group mode by clicking here or on the bus page, and then you turn it on, and that'll be sending to your group. So as I go through, I'm just checking all my drums here, making sure that it's on in the drum group, and they are. We have the bass on in the bass group, guitar on in the guitar group, trumpets, bones, saxes, strings, keys are going to the main one. That's the other thing too. So my strings, I don't want to go to my main. I don't want those to go directly to my main. So I'm going to make sure to turn those off. Otherwise it's going to go there twice. It's going to go to the bus and then the main separately. But we want it to go to the bus and then to the main instead of directly to the main and then also the bus and then the main. So the buses also have to go to the mains. So we're gonna go there, and if we're gonna go to those buses, we're gonna make sure they're all on to our mains, which they are, which is great. Monitor mixes, obviously we do not want to go to the mains. And my effects that I had set up already in groups are going to the mains. Awesome. And they are all post. Okay, I need to undo this. I need to make these post fader. So we're gonna turn this off and select none. We're gonna turn this off and select none. Delay is correct. That's correct. So I want to use my post fader insert on my verbs because I want to be able to throw things into the effect. I want to throw this mix into the effect and not have this be the output control, because then when I mute my effects and I bring them down, they'll hard cut off if it's a pre-fader effect. But this way, if I bring the fader down, it'll continue to return as long as that delay is delaying, and it'll sound more natural. So my plate on and selecting my plate. Awesome. There we go. Whew. All right, we have our inputs. Everything fits barely. We're gonna make it work. And then we have, all my inputs. They're all routed to this, from the stage box. My aux page is set up. I have some house music I'm gonna play. I'll have my laptop set up. We also have pink noise ready to go so I can test my stuff. And my talkback, which lets make sure this talkback is being sent to all of our wedges. So we'll go here, we'll go to the outputs. This is kind of easier, and we'll send it at like -10 generally. And same with the matrices, which is like a toggle here, I think. Yeah. So -10. Don't want to go super loud. There's going to be 10 monitors on stage, so if I talk into the mic into 10 monitors, I hope somebody can hear me. All right, so the talkback's going places. Pink noise is not going places until I test it. That is awesome. And okay, so we have our inputs. I have my aux page set up how I want. I routed pink noise to an aux channel. This is what I did here in the sources page, if you're curious. Let's see, go to sources, and you go to find oscillator, and you set it up as pink noise, and then I routed that source to this channel, and that way I have pink noise ready to go whenever I need it to test things, which is super handy. So I just made a channel dedicated. It's always playing pink noise, and I can just bring it up in my mains. If I had my mains up, I could just bring it up and test, or I could, you know, send it to a bus and test a monitor or whatever it is. So that is super handy just to have already ready. Okay, buses, once again, 6 monitor mixes here. We have my 6 groups that I want, as well as my 4 effects, and then we have my 4 additional monitor mixes over here on the other matrices. Obviously, a million ways to organize this, maybe differently than I did, but this is just how I decided to do it. So I had to do the least amount of messing around with moving stuff, because I like my buses like this, and I like my effects, and I wanted to keep that. And then now all I have to do is set up my user layers. So I think what I'll do for my user layers, I guess there's a lot of other stuff I gotta do. I'm gonna go through the channels and like set high pass filters. I won't have to bore you with that in the video, but I'll go through like these trumpet, trombone, whatever, all these, and like set some high pass, and I won't EQ anything, but I'll like set the high pass filters. Like anything that I know I'm probably gonna do, I'll do. Luckily I got some basic drum EQs and stuff. I'll probably like flatten those out a little bit and kind of reset some things to a point. But I'll pre-do some stuff, like this guitar channel. Like I'll have this high pass filter in and ready to go, because I just know I'm gonna do that tomorrow. Anything that I know I can do I'm going to do tomorrow, and I can do today, and save that time, I'll do it. So I won't bore you through that part, but let's just set up our user layers, and then kind of go back over one more time, make sure I have everything that I need, and then I think that'll be a pretty solid file here. So user 1 config on this view page. If you don't know, you can configure these user layers. You go to user 1, view this, config at the top, and then you just drag and drop your different stuff is up here, your different categories. So I'll start with the channels. Let's see, what do I want to see? Actually, you know what? I don't think I'm gonna make a layer for the channels, because I'll just have, there's so many channels. But I'll probably put Emmett's mic on this main layer. So let's just go through. I'm gonna do the buses first. So I like to just put my buses here, so that this is sort of like my mix page. This will be like the page that I live on most of the show. And I'll put the Vox and the guest. I'll put Emmett here and the guest here, and then my effects here. I think that's all I'm gonna want on my user layer, because that way I'm just mixing my groups and my effects. That's kind of how this is gonna go. Let's see, do I have those faders up? Oh, let's bring those down. Okay, there we go. And then user 2, sometimes I like to set up as like, if I do like a smaller band, I'll put kick and snare and like bass guitar, like 2 guitars, so I can do features or whatever, and then I'll put like the vocals, and then I'll do that all on the first layer, and then on the next layer I'll do my groups and my effects. But in this case, I think there's just so many channels that I'll just jump to the layer that has the channels in the case of needing to make a blend adjustment. But we'll go here for the group for my mix page, and then this I'll put my aux stuff, which I don't really think is that much. It's kind of just the DJ, like, we could put the DJ on here. We could put the house music on here. Oops, that was a mistake. Maybe put, yeah, I mean, there's really not even a point. Not even a point to make another layer, I don't think. Let's just leave it. I'll leave it open if I need to do something. Or maybe, oh, actually, it could be handy. I'm going to put all my monitor mixes on this layer. Oh, yeah. Because then I'm going to make James do the monitors tomorrow on a tablet. But just because, there's 2 of us, so we might as well use everybody. So there. Now I put all my monitor mixes on one layer, so I don't have to jump around. Now this doesn't do sends on fader, but at least I can click this. Maybe what can I see from this? I can't see the send levels, can I? Okay. Well, maybe this wasn't that helpful then. Maybe I'll make this user layer then, and I'll put all of my monitor mix sends on fader on this user layer, and I'll call that a day. So I think let's just go through one more time this whole file and just make sure I have everything that I need. Like I said, I'll set some of the high pass filters and do some of that yet today, but I won't bore you with that. But let's just go through one more time. We have 2 drum kits on the input layers, bass, guitar. We got brass, our strings, which we're going to kind of double up or Y cable or whatever we got to do because there's so many inputs, keys. And then on this layer, I have all my vocals all in one layer, which is nice. And then DJ over here. So I kind of have 3 groups, 3 layers here of all of my inputs and all my mixable channels. My aux layer I have set up just has my house music and my pink noise and my talkback. And then finally our buses that we set up. We have 6 monitor mixes here. We have the other 4 on the matrix page. And then I have my subgroups. So I have my drums, bass, guitar, brass, strings, and vocals. And my effects, if I page over, I have my 4 different effects buses. And then finally, last but not least, going all the way back, we have my left, right, sub, and fill, which is feeding off of my main mix. All of my groups are going to my main mix, my effects are going to my master mix, and a few of the inputs like the keys and the DJ and just stuff that I don't need to bus process. So that is a file for a 25-piece band, and I am definitely going to change something tomorrow, but at least I have a gigantic head start on all of the time that it takes to make this file. And this video is like an hour long probably at this point, and I just saved myself an hour tomorrow. So hopefully you got something out of this video. If you got any questions, suggestions, anything that I could have done differently, let me know in the comments. Love chatting with you guys. Like I said, I'm still going to go through and set up my high pass filters and pre-stage some compression, or set up my groups a little bit more. But that's what I'm dealing with tomorrow. So hope you guys enjoyed, and I'll catch you in the next one.